Okay, candidate name Donald Crawford, analysing and assessing a tennis player.
After watching the video of the player, I picked up on a number of strengths. The first strength was the skill strength. I find that the forehand grind stroke was good because he had a good contact point and high. He hit it pretty high height above the net. This is good because it reduces the risk of it going into the net, and also it creates more depth to put the opponent under pressure. Also there was lots of spin on the ball, so this made the ball bounce higher, so it would make the opponent's contact point higher, or maybe play it from further back in the court, which will stop him from getting any momentum going forward in the play. Also, another skill strength was his volley. Thought he got down well to the ball. His knee bend was good. He had a good strong contact point, and he won a number of points off it. This is good because it made the player put the other player under pressure constantly, reduced the amount of time he had to hit the ball as it was coming from a shorter distance. And if sometimes he did a wee drop volley, which put the other player under pressure, as he had to come up to the drop shot, try and chase the ball, and made the other player have a hard shot to return. Some tactical strengths was he knew when to move forward and take the ball on the rise, or whether to step back and defend. This is good because without this he can go and play stupid shots and low percentage shots, which is a high risk on, and it doesn't give him momentum as the player the other player couldn't get momentum if he's coming forward, and he could constantly put him under pressure and take away time from the other player and increase the other player's risk of hitting it into the net or hitting the ball out. His fitness strength was cardiovascular endurance. I find that the player managed to keep good intensity throughout the whole time he was playing. This is good because his level of performance doesn't drop too much, and it allows him to keep playing at a good level of play to keep his opponent constantly under pressure, and try and keep him under pressure and try and win as much points as possible in a row and get a steady lead in the game. Some of the weaknesses I found was backhand slice. I thought he came too much underneath the ball instead of through. This meant it would give an easy mid-court shot for the opponent to put away and perhaps win the point. And this means that the player would be constantly under pressure trying to defend and reach hard balls, which would increase the risk of him hitting it out or into the net and therefore losing the point. Also, his smashes, I noticed he had one or two smashes which went into the net. This was because I felt he let the ball drop too much and contacted at a low point and didn't really get underneath the ball, and because of this they went into the net. This means that it's a great confidence booster for the other player if the other player just manages to get to the shot, reaches up, and the other player and he gets up high, and then the other player puts it into the net. So if he reaches that ball and then finds out that the guy's missed a smash, it's a great confidence booster. It feels like all his running's paid off, gets him up for the next point as well. His fitness weaknesses was his speed around the court. I thought was a bit slow. This meant that he'd be constantly under pressure, and the other player was hitting it quite some good angles, so this meant the performer struggled to get to some, which would make him constantly under pressure as he'd be struggling to reach his recovery point each time. The weakness I've chosen to prioritise is the backhand slice. I thought, like I said, he came underneath the ball, he kind of leaned back on the shot. This allowed the other player to have put the ball away in a mid-court. I think he should try and come through the ball, transferring his body weight. Try and not lean back, keep the ball low, so especially on the courts they're playing on, A backhand slice is a good weapon to have, as if the ball keeps low, it skids, and it makes it hard as a low contact point for the other player who's to try and scoop it up and put enough spin on it to keep it in the court. If he has a good backhand slice, he can come in behind it. If it's a low shot and the other player has to scoop it up, it gives them an easy high volley to put away on the next shot. The practices I've chosen to do, first I'll do basket feed. I'll just get 20 balls and I'll feed the player backhand slices. If I feel that the ball's deep, skids through and it's low enough, he'll get a point. But if I feel it's too high and I can attack with it, then he loses a point. We'll start basket feeds and then we'll move on to proper rallies, so he can choose to slice whenever he wants. But if I feel I can attack with that, again he'll lose a point. But if I find that he gains advantage from the shot he's just played, then he gets a point. After this, I'll add in the serve and play proper points and try and get him, after he's sliced it, to come up to net behind the slice. And if he does this, he'll get 2 points, as he's showing clear chip and charge tactic, where he slices the ball, comes in for the volley, and wins a point as he gets an easy high volley. The time scale chosen for this is 6 weeks. He'll practice 4 times a week. For each session will be about an hour. He'll also go through strength and conditioning to try and get more power. Also, his timing on the backhand slice is crucial to try and get the body weight transfer through it, and the deeper it goes, the more harder it is for the other player. If this player wants to take his tennis any further, he could join a club and he could play in club league matches. For example, down at Thistle Tennis Club or Compton Tennis Club. And from this, he can then enter LTA sanctioned tournaments where he'll get a British tennis membership, and he'll be given a rating, and he'll be able to compete in more tournaments and gain ranking points from this. Once he's gained enough ranking points, say he's in the top 10 of his county, he'll be asked to go along to county trials at the East of Scotland Tennis at Craiglocker. Usually it's the top 10 from the county, and then they choose a further 6 to go to County Cup, or further 4 to go to the T-Cup. So if he's selected for his county, it's a good honour to have, and you also gain lots of points from playing in these tournaments, as they're a very high grade tournament. After he's played for his county, he can come back, try and win a few more high graded tournaments in Scotland, like the Waverley Junior Open and the East of Scotland Junior Open. Hopefully, once he gets in roughly the top 10 or 15 in Britain, he'll be noticed by performance coaches and asked to attend training sessions at Roehampton National Tennis Centre while playing junior ITF tournaments, where he'll be given a Tennis Europe ranking. At Roehampton, he'll also receive professional full-time coaching. He can choose whether he wants to continue his academic studies or not as well, and he will also receive sports science coaching, a dietitian, and also strength and conditioning coaches to try and increase his power. After this, he can go away and compete in more junior ITF tournaments, trying to win them, and then maybe advance on to senior ITF tournaments or challenger events. After a few years, he might progress through the senior ITF and play in ATP 250 tournaments, and then further on to 500, ATP 500, ATP 1000 tournaments on the ATP circuit, where he will receive a world ranking. After another few hard training years, he could find himself getting wild cards into Grand Slams such as Wimbledon if he's seen as future talent. He'll then, if he keeps on improving, he can then qualify for the Masters Cup in London in the O2 Arena in November, which is the top 8 players of the year who compete for the Masters Cup to decide who's the world champion that year. After this, if he starts to win slams, he'll continue progressing up the rankings ladder, and then maybe one day become world number 1. The health benefits from tennis are you can increase your cardiovascular endurance. There's a reduced risk of osteoporosis as your bones get stronger through playing tennis. Also, his respiratory system will be more efficient as his cardiac muscle will increase and his stroke volume will be increased, which allows a lower resting heartbeat. Also, for the social side of things, he'll meet new people by playing tennis at clubs and tournaments. He'll have an increased confidence and self-esteem about himself. He'll learn in his team tennis. He'll learn the importance of teamwork, leadership, especially if you're a captain's a club, and also the importance of friendship. Thanks.